What if the most powerful angel in heaven was also the one who caused its greatest rebellion? How did the most beautiful of God's creation become the prince of darkness? This is the tragic fall of Lucifer, the angel who became the devil. Once, he was the most magnificent of all angels, radiant beyond measure, adorned with beauty and wisdom. But pride took root, and in his heart, darkness began to stir. He desired more than what was given, and his ambition would shake the very foundations of heaven. Welcome to Divine Bible Stories, where we uncover the most powerful and untold stories from the Bible. If you love deep biblical insights, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video to help spread the word. Lucifer, the morning star, would soon become the prince of darkness. His story is one of glory, betrayal, and a fall so great that even the heavens trembled. And so it begins. Could an angel so perfect, so close to God, ever turn against him? What went wrong? Lucifer was no ordinary angel. He was the seal of perfection, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. Ezekiel chapter 28, verse 12 to 15. Among the heavenly host, he stood above all, a being of unmatched splendor. His form was adorned with every precious stone, sardius, topaz, diamond, beryl, onyx, and jasper, crafted by the hand of God himself. He was a cherub, one of the highest orders of angels, positioned at the very throne of the Almighty. His wings stretched wide in divine majesty, and his voice led the symphony of heaven's worship. He walked among the fiery stones of God's presence, reflecting the very light of heaven. His name, Lucifer, means light-bringer, and his purpose was glorious, to glorify the one who created all things. But within this beauty, a darkness was slowly taking root. What happens when the most powerful angel begins to desire the very throne of God? Could pride truly corrupt a being made in perfection? But within the heart of Lucifer, a shadow was forming. Though he stood above all the angels, though his radiance surpassed the stars, it was not enough. A thought, small at first, began to take root. Why should he serve when he could rule? The throne of the Almighty stood in unapproachable majesty, the source of all power and dominion. And as Lucifer gazed upon it, a hunger grew within him, a hunger not for worship, but for sovereignty. I will ascend above the stars of God, he whispered within himself. I will set my throne on high. I will sit on the mount of assembly. I will ascend above the clouds. I will make myself like the Most High. Isaiah chapter 14, verses 12 to 14. The heavens resounded with ceaseless worship, the angels bowing in reverence before the Eternal One. But Lucifer no longer bowed with them. What had begun as a whisper was now a fire. And the fire of pride does not smolder. It consumes. How could Lucifer convince 1/3 of heaven's angels to follow him? And what did heaven do in response? Pride had taken root, and now it sought to spread. Lucifer, once the light-bringer, had become a whisperer in the shadows, sowing the seeds of rebellion among the angels. Why should we serve? Why not rule? He asked in secret. Are we not mighty? Do we not shine like the stars? Why should we bow when we could ascend? His words were poison, and they spread like fire. A great number of angels listened, their hearts stirred with the same desire. And so, 1/3 of the heavenly host turned their allegiance away from the Creator and toward the one who promised them thrones of their own. Revelation chapter 12, verse 4. But the heavens do not remain silent in the face of rebellion. The loyal angels watched in sorrow as Lucifer's heart grew cold. They warned him, pleaded with him, but his pride would not yield. And so, the moment came when heaven itself could no longer contain his defiance. Then, a voice thundered across the celestial realms, a voice not of rebellion, but of command. Michael the archangel, the captain of God's army, stood against him. The time for words had passed. You will not ascend. Michael declared. "The throne belongs to the Most High. You were created to serve, not to rule." And then the heavens shook. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought back. But he was not strong enough, and they lost their place in heaven. Revelation chapter 12, verses 7 to 9. Blades of divine fire clashed. The light of the eternal clashed against the dark fire of rebellion. The voices of angels filled the expanse, a cry of war never heard before. And in the center of it all was Lucifer, his once radiant form now burning with defiance. He fought with fury, but against the armies of the Almighty he could not stand. The heavens themselves rejected him. Then, in a moment that changed eternity, Michael struck the final blow. And with a force greater than words can tell, Lucifer was cast out. Jesus himself would later recall that moment. "I saw Satan fall like lightning from heaven." Luke chapter 10, verse 18. Down he plummeted, the radiance of heaven stripped from him, his name now cursed among the angels. The once glorious cherub had fallen. And as he descended into the abyss, the gates of heaven closed behind him forever. When Lucifer was cast out, did he lose all his power? Or did he become something far more dangerous? The heavens were no longer his home. The light that once surrounded him was gone, replaced by an abyss deeper than any he had known. His wings, once clothed in glory, now bore the weight of ruin. The name Lucifer, the light bringer, was no more. He was now Satan, the adversary. "But you are brought down to Sheol, to the depths of the pit." Isaiah chapter 14, verse 15. Where once he walked among the fiery stones of God's presence, now he lay in the darkness of exile. Where once he ruled over angels, now only the fallen stood beside him, creatures of rebellion, stripped of their former splendor. And in that darkness, hatred was born. Hatred for the one who had cast him down. Hatred for the throne he could never claim. Hatred for the creation that would take the place he had lost. If he could not rule in heaven, then he would seek to rule on earth. Slowly, he rose from the abyss, and before him stretched a new dominion, a twisted kingdom of chaos and despair. The fallen gathered around him, waiting for his command. No longer angels, but demons, bound to his will. And so, in the heart of darkness, a new war began. Not a war fought in the heavens, but one waged upon the earth, against the very thing God loved most. If Satan could not defeat God, what was his next plan? And how did his deception change the fate of all humanity? Darkness did not quench his desire for dominion. It only deepened it. Cast from heaven, stripped of his former glory, Satan now turned his gaze upon the earth, and there, in the center of God's perfect creation, was Eden, a paradise untouched by corruption, where mankind walked in harmony with their Creator. They were pure, untainted by rebellion. But to Satan, they were the perfect targets. If he could not sit upon the throne of heaven, then he would steal the hearts of those made in God's image. Disguising himself in the form of a serpent, he slithered into the garden, unseen, unheard. He found Eve standing near the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, the one thing God had forbidden. And there, he spoke his first words to humanity. Did God really say, "You must not eat from any tree in the garden"? Genesis chapter 3, verse 1. Eve hesitated. Doubt. That was the seed he needed. "You will not surely die," the serpent whispered, "for God knows that when you eat from it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil." Genesis chapter 3, verses 4 to 5. It was the same lie he had told himself in heaven. The same pride that led to his downfall he now planted in mankind. Eve looked at the fruit, her heart wrestling between obedience and desire, and in that moment, the deception took root. She reached out, took the fruit, and ate. Then she gave it to Adam, and he ate as well. And with that single act, The world changed. The perfection of Eden shattered. Innocence was lost. Sin entered the world, and with it came death, pain, and separation from God. Satan had won his first battle. Mankind had fallen. But his war was only beginning. If Satan's end has already been written, why does he still fight? And what can we learn from his fall? Satan may have won his first battle, but his war will not last forever. From the moment of his rebellion, his fate was already sealed. Though he roams the earth, seeking to deceive and destroy, his final judgment has been written. And the devil who deceived them was thrown into the lake of fire and sulfur, where the beast and the false prophet were also, and they will be tormented day and night forever and ever. Revelation chapter 20, verse 10. There will come a day when the deceiver becomes the defeated. No longer will he corrupt. No longer will he rule over darkness. His power will end, his rebellion crushed, and the justice of God will be fulfilled. Yet, through it all, one truth remains unshaken. God is sovereign. No rebellion can dethrone him. No deception can overcome his truth. Lucifer's story is a warning to all. Pride leads to destruction, but humility leads to grace. His downfall was his own desire to exalt himself, but those who humble themselves before God will be lifted up. And here is the greatest hope of all. No matter how far one falls, God's grace is always greater. Unlike Lucifer, we still have the chance to turn back, to seek redemption, to walk in the light instead of darkness. But what do you think? Should Lucifer have had a second chance? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this powerful Bible story, don't forget to subscribe for more. There are many more untold stories waiting to be revealed. Until next time, stay blessed.